There's no government in Nigeria. That's one thing. There's no government. We're just on autopilot. We're just free-flowing. Yes, there's someone who claims he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's someone, but people are not feeling the impact of governance. It's not about you carrying the key, getting yourself sworn in and being at Aso Villa and being able to appoint ABCD. It's about what positive impact have you made in people's lives. If you've not made any positive impact in people's lives, come on. You can, yeah, how do they put it? It could be like paracetamol, but no fit be paracetamol. I forgot the other name, Shabe. I no want to do advert for somebody.
Good evening, everyone. Today is the 16th day of May 2024. In the wake of political hopelessness in Nigeria, the quest for hope is sacrosanct. And there are some very facts that we are going to look into in this video. Aisha Yesufu, a well-known political activist, was on Arise News prime time, where she inserted some disputing facts that we are going to deliberate in this video. First of all, she said that Nigeria don't have any government, that we do not have any government. Secondly, she said APC did not win the 2023 presidential election, of which I believe that this is the well-known fact that some persons have in their mind. And she went on to explain and express herself regarding the issue of weak opposition political parties we have in Nigeria. And she reiterated her support for Mr. Peter Obi, that wherever Peter Obi goes, that she is going to support her because she is supporting Peter Obi as a candidate and not as a political party.
For me, APC was not elected. APC, they rigged their way into office. That's my own opinion. Aisha Yesufu, that's my name. And I'm not putting water in my mouth when I say it. So that's on one part. In terms of the political space, it's not bleak. It's extremely bright. Governance, yes, it's bleak. It's been bleak for like over 8 years. We've been there over the time, like over a decade. And that's why we got to where we are today. But I can tell you something. In 2018, I think, 2017, 2018, it took a lot to even tell Nigerians, we were doing the red card movement. And we were saying to Nigerians, look, there can be an option outside of APC and PDP, outside of the two main two main parties. And many people didn't believe. Many people, people thought we were crazy. We were going all around the country, speaking about this thing. Today, people have seen that it's not only an option, but it's doable and it can be done. And for me, that's a huge thing. In nation building takes, it's very slow. So it's not something that, oh, you expect that, yes, you do this and then you get in there and that's it. No, it's very slow. I mean, there are a lot of setbacks. So as far as one must do, and this is something that I constantly do, is that you must continuously look at the little wins and take them. If I look at where we used to be, where young people didn't bother about politics, where a lot of citizens weren't bothered, people didn't even understand the relationship between governance and their lives. And I look at them like, politically, yes, we've gone a long way. But in terms of governance, of course, it's bleak because it has been there for over a decade. Even when we're on the streets, those are part of the things. Governance had gone, haywire. And today where we are, there's no government in Nigeria. That's one thing. There's no government. We're just on autopilot. We're just free-flowing. Yes, there's someone who claims he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's someone, but people are not feeling the impact of governance. It's not about you carrying the key, getting yourself sworn in and being at Aso Villa and being able to appoint ABCD. It's about what positive impact have you made in people's lives. If you've not made any positive impact in people's lives, come on. You can, how do they put it? It could be like paracetamol, but no fit be paracetamol. I forgot the other name, Shabe. I no want to do advert for somebody. So for me, the 2023 election, there was no defeat. The Nigerian people won. And we know that Mr. Peter Obi won the presidential election. Labour Party won it. And for me, it's something of a beauty to see Nigerians who hitherto didn't bother about politics all of a sudden were interested and invested, and they were able to actually unmask what politicking is all about in Nigeria. That it's not rocket science. It's not what we thought it was, where people were afraid of politics and thought there was some kind of what did they call it now, some kind of skills or whatever that this old politicians have, that they don't really have anything. And if people come together, they can do the needful. So for me, that 2023, there was so much that was achieved.
But given all that, I mean, do you feel, given what you just said, do you feel lost in terms of what's next for you politically?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not lost. I know what for me, it's the next step. See, I am one person who, before I do something, I really think about it and I look at all the commitment that it's needed. And when I commit to something, I go on. I never, even as a child, even as a young person, I never focus on the result. What I focus on is on my effort. What am I doing? Yes, the result might have gone not the way that it was supposed to be, not the way, but what am I doing? That's what is most important for me. And so that's what I'm still focusing on. Today, I believe that we need to have a lot of people in politics. This whole issue where people sit back and say that, oh, they're not doing politics, they don't want to do politics, it hasn't served Nigeria in any way. Nature abhors vacuum. And if you allow, if there's a vacuum, charlatans will go in there, they will occupy the space. First of all, we need people with second jobs in politics. Politics should not be people's primary jobs. That's one of the problems that we have here. We need people with competence, character, capacity running for offices. We need people being part of politics. And even if you're not running for office, you could be a party member, you could be one of the delegates, you could be someone who is going to be a party agent. There are so many things that you could do within that political space. And so it's very important for us to begin to do that. The legislative arm of government, I keep saying it, is the bedrock of democracy. The legislative arm of government is more powerful than the executive. The only thing is that the executive controls the pulse of the nation. So what are we doing to send people to the legislative arm of government? Today, election in Nigeria is very expensive. It's not about whether bribing or doing anything. Just doing the normal things you're supposed to do. Election is quite expensive, and not a lot of people have that money. Even if they have that money, you can't expect someone to bring their own personal money and use it to run for office. Then it's no longer politics. It's now business. When they get in there, they're going to get their monies back, and they're also going to get monies that they will use for the next election. So we as a people, we must put our monies where our votes are. We must begin to say to ourselves, what are we going to do? I've said this before. If 1 million Nigerians decide to give 1,000 naira every month, put it together in a common purse, we will have 1 billion naira every month. 12 months, in a year, that will be 12 billion. In 4 years, that will be 48 billion. 48 billion can help in putting the monies needed for election to be able to send a substantial amount of people to the National Assembly and the state houses of assembly. These are the people that will make the laws. They make laws, they have oversight function, they ratify treaties. Even when there's appointment, they confirm appointments so that they will make laws that are pro-people, not laws that are just, for regime protection. Party isn't doing anything. The party that he is part, Mr. Peter Obi is part of, is really not playing opposition. It's just there. I don't know what they're doing. But Mr. Peter Obi himself, he is playing the opposition. So he's literally almost as if he's that lone voice who is, playing that opposition within the political space. But the party that he belongs to, no, they haven't played opposition at all. They failed Nigerians, absolutely. And it was the fact that opposition had failed Nigeria. That was why Nigerians were looking for an alternative. And they went on with Labour Party, and we expect Nigerians expecting
the
that
Labour Party has failed them as well.
No, they have failed. There's not two ways about it. We can't see red and call it black. They have failed. They haven't done what that was expected of them. There is more that they can do, because right now, with the suffering that is happening, with the fact that insecurity, people are being killed left, right, and center. Nothing, not a word, nothing. People are suffering. People can't feed themselves. Is it yesterday there was a report? Amnesty International has a report of a young man. I can't remember which of the states, whether it's Borno or something, who stole some noodle, and then police, he was arrested. Police beat him to death, and he died in the hospital and all of that. People are hungry. People are going through so much. Where is the opposition? They're supposed to be the voices of the people. One of the things I always say to people is that, because I see a lot of people like, oh, Aisha, you used to do advocacy. Why are you doing politics? I say advocacy, activism, and politics are the same thing. They are supposed to be for the greater good. The only difference is the approach. Where the advocates and activists will point out what the problems are, the politicians are supposed to solve those problems. So right now, the opposition, they have failed. They're just waiting for the years to roll by, and then in the next 4 years, they will now start, or is it 3 years now, They will now start telling citizens to come out and vote for them. They should. It's not just about democracy. Is not just about electioneering. It's about dividends of democracy and ensuring that the lives of the people are better. Right now, where are the policies? We have policies that are crazy. I mean, Naira went from where to where to where, and I remember people insulting me, abusing me because I said, hold your dollars, closer. Right now, even at the moment, at the time where they brought in their kangaroo, policies and decided that they were going to force the Naira the Naira to be strong. What happened? You cannot govern with propaganda. That is not it. And some of the questions that I asked people, I say, look, okay, fine, the Naira, it was almost 2,000, Naira to $1. It's coming down now. What is it that was done? Is it that Nigeria has stopped importing crude petroleum products? Is it that we are now exporting more crude oil? Is it that we are now manufacturing more things and selling? Is it that our politicians are no longer going outside to go and buy vehicles and all of that? I can't remember. There's a particular, I think it's customs, that it was reported that they're going to use how many billions to go and buy vehicles, Toyota vehicles.
Well,
she said she don't know if Mr. P2B is going to merge with anybody. That if Mr. P2B merge with anybody, that as far as P2B is the candidate, I mean the presidential candidate, that she's going to canvass and support Mr. P2B. But she said that the only reason that will make her to dump Mr. P2B is if Mr. P2B becomes a running mate to someone that is not trusted, someone that people don't believe in.
Well, honestly, to be, in my candid opinion, I really don't know. I really don't know. It could go either way. They could decide that they're going to work together. But for me, the thing is that it's not really just about having a merger. So I was one person who in 2015 knew the government, the then government had failed and there needed to be a change. And I felt, and I remember a lot of my tweets, I mean, they are still out there for anyone to search, where I kept saying that, look, Nigerians, we are the ones that have to ensure that we are holding these politicians accountable. Bring in anyone. If they don't do well, vote them out. But unfortunately, Nigerians voted and then went back to go and sleep. And because one of the things that we fail to do a lot of times is to hold people in offices accountable. The demand side of government, as citizens, we've not been able to do that a lot. So it's left to a few people. And I always say that Nigeria needs more active citizens and not more activists. Everybody has to, do that demand side of government. So if it's not about they coming together to just win elections, first of all, they need to reform. And I've not seen any of these parties doing that. They need to rejig their party machinery, their internal democracy.
But if Peter Obi became the candidate for that party, would you support it?
For me, I will support Mr. Peter Obi as a person. That's why for me, it's the candidate I'm supporting. It doesn't matter wherever party, whatever it is that he goes into. But one thing that Aisha Yesufu will not support is where if Peter Obi becomes a running mate to anybody. Nah, I'm not on that ticket.
Right.
I wouldn't be on that.